Okay, today I'm going to go through one of the tutorials for week 3 that looks at command line arguments for programs. When you invoke a program by its name at the command line and you provide extra arguments for it, this will be useful for some of the assessments. I'm just going to share my screen. And if you're on the home page, go to Tutorials Week 3. It's the command line arguments tutorial that we're looking at. And so far, all of our programs, we've pretty much used int main void to start them off. And this void is, in particular, there's no user input, and we have collected user input, but we've drawn the user input into the program using some declarative statements in the body of main. And because we've done it that way up to now, we haven't had to modify any of the declaration of the main program itself, especially inside the brackets. But there is a way to do that. And if we want to grab user-provided data from the command line when our program's invoked, we need to do something a little bit different. And this is what we do that's different. There are these two utility functions, argc and argv. Okay, argc and argv. Right, so this stands for arg count and I believe it stands for arg vector. Now these are command line arguments that are added to main just in this way. They're special arguments. Now what do they tell us? Well, the argc, the argument count, tells us how many total arguments are provided at the command line. If we just invoked a program called greedy, there would just be one argument provided at the command line. And for example, if we invoked greedy and had a couple of other accessory statements, maybe an integer and a string, we would have 3 arguments. So we're ignoring the spaces here. And by the way, these will be treated, as you'll see, as strings themselves, even the numbers. Now, argv, the argument vector, is an array that stores the actual commands as strings at the command line. Now, an interesting thing here is when we use these together, because they're both arrays, we can exploit the count that's captured with argc to access the indices and therefore the contents of the user input with argv. All right. So argv always starts at 0. That would always be the name of the program in typical thinking. And the last one would always be argc minus 1. Why is that? Well, because we start at 0. There's 3 total. The vector addresses would be 0, 1, 2, and 3 minus 1 is the largest one. Okay, so the way that we do this is that if we were looking at the contents of argv, the index for argv0 for this particular command here would be greedy, and if we looked at arg1, it would be 1024, the second, and if we looked at arg2, it would be the third, CS50. All right, so I didn't ask what argv3 would result in for this. Remember, C allows you to overshoot your array indices, so I think I'll leave this as a little puzzle for you to look at. I have a little example I'm going to go through in the sandbox here. And I have this little program, and I've got some notes here that you can pause and read if you want. They're just definitions to remind you, me, or my future self, or some other person that I've never spoken to about this program, what it's all about, why we've done it. So I've got some headers. I've got a main declaration with declaring argc and argv appropriately, and I've got a for loop. Here I'm going up to I starts with 0, the first index of argv, and I'm going up to less than argc, So it'll be one less than the max number of ones, and that reflects the fact that I want to print each index location of argv. So what happens if I do this? Well, I'm going to create some fake inputs. We don't really need any arguments at the command line other than invoking the program itself. The program is called command, so you could recreate this and play with it yourself with some fake flags. So what I would do is first I'll make command, and it builds just fine. And now what I'm going to do, got a little typo there. Whoops, again. Oh my God, there we go. What I'm going to do is provide some fake arguments, which the program will happily accept. So we might have something like this. I've provided two, a character string and an integer, but remember they'll both be treated as strings. And then I'm just going to see what we get from our little program. What we get at position 0 the first time through the for loop is the command invoking the program. We get the second argument I provided, and last the integer. And that's all there is to it. You might find this useful in some of your assessments, and that's all I have to say about that.